I've spent hundreds of hours investigating the dental industry and their materials, and the outlook is bleak. That's why I'm developing unheard of tech, so people don't need to get poisoned anymore just to save their teeth. In this video, I will share some of what I've found. So this is the Jade Tooth project, and I created this channel because my fiance and I want to reclaim our dental health without resorting to the dental industry's toxic products. I'm seeking out a team of material engineers and rebel dentists who have big hearts and care about the health of humanity. So I'm going to start with the first solution that I'm attempting to develop, which is a non-toxic flipper. This is my top priority because my fiance has missing teeth and she needs flippers to prevent her teeth from going out of place and from her jaw resorbing in the long run. And right now, lots of people have flippers. They're commonly created, custom fit for people who have missing teeth. They're little inserts that can pop out and help to give people their bite back. But there's only really one type of flipper, which is a metal flipper, which can allow people to chew on the foods that they're used to like a normal tooth would. There are other types of flippers which are more like placeholders and can help with softer foods. But I would like to develop something which can last for many years and can take the place of these flippers that the dental industry is creating, because right now they're just made out of plastic and metal, and plastic and metal are toxic. They're genotoxic. They affect various systems in our body. They leach into our mouths and our digestive systems and into our bloodstream. So I think it's really important that there's an alternative offered for people, and my fiance would like to be the guinea pig for this first prototype. So clearly this is a very important thing. This allows people to avoid invasive implants, and it just offers a solution which can be taken in or out, cleaned, gives people the sovereignty to make that decision for themselves, whether they want it in their mouth or not. And so this is quite the engineering challenge, but I think I've figured it out. It's an engineering challenge because flippers, really they make them out of plastic and metal because these materials are cheap and widely available. They last a long time. They don't get eaten by the enzymes and the bacteria and the fungi that exist in our mouths. They can handle the chewing forces that are present in our mouths, and they can be removed. And they kind of snap into place. They're especially fit for people, and to create a non-toxic solution has actually proven quite difficult because there has to be all of these requirements met, and biomaterials and non-toxic materials such as certain minerals, they need some workarounds to be able to do this. So here's my current concept for how this can be done, how we can make a flipper that will not hurt the person that it's inside of. Essentially, the tooth portion of the flipper, I believe, needs to be made out of nephrite jade. Nephrite is a type of jade which is an amazing material. Really, it's highly durable and hard. It has a sort of fiber-like crystal structure which actually mimics our crystalline tooth structure quite closely. It can prevent cleaving, it resists fracturing, so it can handle the chewing forces that teeth do. It can be shaped with a diamond burr, and diamond burrs, I recently learned, can be attached to CNC mills or specialized tools that are used by diamond cutters or gem cutters for crafting gemstones. And it's important that a diamond burr is used because it will not reduce the structural integrity of nephrite like a laser might. So these nephrite solutions can be mass-produced potentially. Nephrite is a widely available gemstone. It's very inexpensive. It has low thermal conductivity, so it can prevent sensitivity to temperature changes, hot or cold sensitivity, which is common for people with tooth issues and dental problems. And nephrite specifically, there are types of nephrite that are relatively tooth colored. And this is a big engineering problem in the dental industry. They spend a lot of money to figure out how to make their plastics and metals look like teeth so that people aren't self-conscious about the replacement teeth that they get. So I think nephrite is a perfect material. If you have any other suggestions for gemstones that might have all of these same qualities and work similarly, then please drop it in the comments below or reach out to me on my email through this YouTube channel. I'm open to suggestions, but I think nephrite is sufficient and a really amazing gemstone, pretty unique. So my concept is to craft the tooth portion of the flipper out of nephrite and the clip portion and liner, which would help to attach the nephrite tooth to the surrounding teeth and keep it in place, and also absorb some of the shock of the chewing forces. I think this should be crafted out of bioplastic. I talked in previous videos about how these nephrite solutions could be completely one piece, and specifically for this flipper solution, I think it's important that it's actually two pieces, because if it were just fully nephrite, then the nephrite would have no flexibility. The clip portion needs to have some minimal give and elasticity so that it can clip on around the tooth next to it, or the teeth next to it, and stay in place and absorb some of those forces. So this makes it a bit more complex, but I believe that having a sort of replaceable design so that this clip liner portion can be removed and replaced as necessary is the way to go. So the nephrite can be carved so that a bioplastic portion could clip into it fairly easily and be removed without reducing the performance capacity of the flipper. The specific type of bioplastic and what it would be augmented with in order to prevent it from decaying, I'd like to keep this proprietary right now, And that's not because I'd like to profit off of this or reduce access to this. Actually, just the opposite. I don't want the dental industry or any entrepreneurs to take this concept and run with it and develop it themselves independently of me and patent it so that they could profit off of it and restrict access to people. I would like to create a defensive publication for this material once a prototype has been created and proven. And for this, I'm going to need a team, the development of this nephrite, and the creation of a defensive publication of prior art. I am not equipped to do it myself. I need support from, like I said earlier, dentists and engineers, and dental engineers would be the best of both worlds, but I will also need assistance from patent clerks or lawyers, someone experienced in that world, and really anyone passionate about what I'm talking about and is willing to do what's necessary and collaborate with me to create the solution. I would be overjoyed to connect and start working on a prototype through digital international collaboration. I would like to have this done by September of 2026. That's my ambitious goal. But if this isn't possible, better late than never. However, this is what I'm aiming for because my fiance needs a solution as soon as possible. That's my current concept. I've found possibly one biological solution that can allow this nephrite to be attached in the mouth without causing any toxicity and lasts approximately 3 to 6 years before needing replaced. And to be clear, only the bioplastic portion of this flipper would need replaced, which would be fairly easy. I think these things can be not mass-produced per se, but produced very easily using CNC mills or possibly handcrafted by skilled gem cutters with the assistance of CBCT scans to create an accurate fit. So that's my solution for flippers, and if anyone is interested in developing this with me, then I will be sharing the details with the team, and I would love to get on calls and possibly post those calls in the future, but the collaboration will be necessary. So to move on to the next solution that's necessary for me and my fiance is a non-toxic dental filling. So a filling that can last a lifetime is very important. Some modern dental fillings provided by the dental industry fall out of people's teeth after a couple years or a couple decades. They can be swallowed and cause toxicity. But even if they don't fall out, then they still have lots of toxic effects. They degrade through chewing forces, through drinking, acidic conditions in the mouth, enzymatic processes. And these materials are made out of plastic and metal, and different dental cements are used sometimes. So dental fillings, such as amalgam fillings, composite fillings, these are not conducive to health, although they're necessary for health. People can't just live with open holes in their teeth, particularly after dental drilling, because nerves are exposed. It causes severe pain and risk of infection, further infection beyond just the cavities. And a lot of people are put in the position where they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. So I have researched to find a suitable solution for this. And once again, I believe I've found it. I think the material that I've developed and that I'm theorizing about can serve a dual purpose as a dental cement and as a filling material. This formula I've already shared in previous videos, but to reiterate, I believe a combination of hand-mined lime, hydrated lime from hand-mined limestone, mixed with hydroxyapatite, which is essentially powderized and kiln-fired bone from animal sources. There's also synthetic hydroxyapatite, which I'm not a fan of, as it's petrochemically derived and highly toxic. But hydroxyapatite, although it comes from a biological source after it's kiln-fired, all the foreign proteins have been removed. And so this makes it a purely mineral substance, which typically doesn't cause adverse reactions or get flagged by the immune system, particularly when it's not implanted into the body. So as a filling material or a dental cement, I think it is inert enough that it won't cause any issues of toxicity or immune reaction. So hydrated lime mixed with hydroxyapatite, and I think potentially the best animal source of hydroxyapatite is antlers. And I think this is the case for two reasons. First of all, from a vegan perspective, it's much more suitable because antlers are naturally shed by deer and other horned animals. So this means that it doesn't hurt the animal to procure this material. And second of all, antlers are very high in different forms of stem cells. And although most of these would be removed in the firing process, there could be residual compounds that could help our body and our teeth to regenerate a bit more and provide the nutrients which could remineralize the teeth sufficiently, making it the opposite of toxic, but regenerative. So these two materials, hydroxyapatite from antlers, although bovine hydroxyapatite would work in a pinch and is the most common and available source of hydroxyapatite currently. I'm not sure if antler hydroxyapatite is even available on the market right now. Plus hydrated lime, these two materials mixed with rice husk ash, the ash from the husk of rice, which is very high in silicone. It's almost pure silicone actually. and also wollastonite, a natural mineral which again has a sort of fibrous structure. The powdered wollastonite, I believe, could provide some structural stability to this dental cement, and the silicone from the rice husk ash could provide a sort of important malleability. The hydroxyapatite would be like the structural backbone to give it its rigidity and mineral structure, and the hydrated lime would give it a pozzolan reactivity, a sort of alkaline nature to set this into a cement. So I think all of these materials together have the potential to replace conventional toxic dental cements, for example, glass ionomers, which are not bioinert but contain fluoride, which does leach into the body and cause all sorts of toxic effects. So lots of cultures in the past have used resins for this purpose as a makeshift dental cement or filling material. And if you're wondering why I'm not considering adding resins, it's because resins are biologically derived. They have foreign plant proteins, and this creates two issues. First of all, they can be flagged by the immune system, cause inflammation reactions, have all sorts of phytochemicals that some people may be sensitive to. And second of all, they're prone to bacterial, fungal, and viral colonization. So they could actually increase the risk of infections in the long term. So that's why I'm approaching this, trying to find completely non-toxic mineral solutions. So that does it for the fillings, but for people who have had most of the structure of their teeth removed by dental drilling or by infection, inlays can be necessary, and inlays are a sort of implant, whether they use metal or zirconia, which is also a type of metal alloy, ceramic, or a composite material, a sort of plastic, whatever they use for inlays. They're, once again, toxic, not biocompatible, and can affect our systems in a whole lot of negative ways. So once again, it's important that if people get inlays, that they stay for life. So a non-toxic solution would have to meet this requirement and once again, not be biologically derived. So this is where I think the nephrite can come in once again. Typically, inlays are also cemented in with the toxic dental cement. So I believe that nephrite inlays cemented with this non-toxic mineral cement that I just mentioned would be the permanent solution for a non-toxic inlay. This one's pretty easy, it's pretty straightforward, and the nephrite can be specifically cut to fit the shape of the hole that someone has in their tooth and allow them to keep that tooth even if it's been degraded by lots of infection and dental drilling. Sometimes saving a tooth can prevent a lot of pain, can prevent a extraction surgery for someone, which requires toxic anesthetics, anesthesia, or numbing agents. So it can really benefit people, and they can keep their tooth that they were born with, well, that they developed as an adult tooth. So to sum it up, these are the 3 solutions that I think are very important to create in the short term. For my fiance and I, these are the solutions we need. We have large holes in our teeth and small holes in other teeth, and we're both missing teeth, but I'm only missing my wisdom teeth, whereas my fiance is missing 3 other teeth in addition to all her wisdom teeth. So the flippers will be required for her. And her situation is most urgent because of this. Really, what I am advocating for is a purity revolution within the dental industry and beyond. I think this could lead to other innovations in the future. If this proves to work, then I or other people may explore onlays, implants, dentures, and expanders, retainers, or even possibly giving alternatives to really destructive traditional dental practices such as braces and root canals. I'm not a fan of these practices, but it's possible that they can be done in a less invasive and more regenerative and non-toxic way. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I would love to see dentists stop doing them, especially the way that they're doing them right now. So that's the future potential of this project. But really, it's important to me to start with the least invasive options possible and see if that works, and if it doesn't, then go from there. The profile picture for this YouTube channel is my concept for a nephrite implant, a one-piece nephrite implant, which could replace things like titanium and zirconium implants, which have a whole host of disadvantages, which I've described in past videos. So the dental industry spends a lot of money to create their products. And I think it's not as important for me and the team that comes together around this to have nearly the same level of monetary resources that the dental industry does. I don't think money stands in our way, because the materials that I'm suggesting are widely available, very inexpensive, and so are the tools that are necessary to craft these solutions. Really, money created this issue and this situation that we're in globally. Corporate greed and big industry are behind all of the toxicity that has been forced upon people So as little financial involvement as possible that will be required in the creation of these products, the better. But it requires dentists to stand up and join and to fight complacency, fight the norm, the standards, the corporations, and the convenience. Like I said, I'm looking for rebel dentists. A lot of rebel dentists become biological dentists, but I think what's happening with a lot of biological dentists is because of the programming of the university system and the misinformation of the dental corporations. A lot of them fall into the same traps and end up using very similar toxic materials as conventional dentists and destructive practices, and end up hurting people unintentionally too. So for me, it's important to reject petrochemical materials and petrochemical processes and toxic metals in every step of crafting these solutions. I believe it's possible to do this thoroughly and in total integrity. Nature has the solutions, and it's up to us to discover them and to innovate and to combine what we have available to us from basic elements that we're built up of, so that we can protect our genetics and future generations, reclaim our health, and restore our well-being. So if you're with me, please join me. It would help the furthering of this project if you would subscribe to this channel, like this video, subscribe and share with your friends. Watch my other videos and educate yourself on what I'm talking about. If you're skeptical, please do your own research and prove to yourself that what I'm saying is true. Look into your own mouth and see what's been done to you by the dental industry. Is this acceptable to you? Is it acceptable to have plastic in your mouth? Is it acceptable to have toxic metal in your mouth? Everything leaches. That's the nature of the universe we're living in. We can't separate ourselves from our environment. Quantum physics proves that. And our environment definitely includes what is implanted into our mouths and stays there and interacts with our food, our breath, and our internal biology. So please stay tuned for more. And if you're inspired by this, I would love your support. So thank you for your time, and I hope to hear from you.